and they stay there, and they say yeah, and they say there. Cause all I do is win, and if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting. Spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of sport, the thrill of victory, and the agony of defeat.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
The human drama of athletic competition.
It's the CANUSA Sports Desk on the 405 radio, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. on the East Coast. You can contact us toll-free at 877-297-8022. If you want to tweet us, it is at CANUSASD, or you can check out the chat room at www.canusasd.com. I want to remind you all our podcasts can be found on iTunes, and if you're listening to the podcast, be sure to join us every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific, that is 11 a.m. Eastern. Today, Derek and Frank will be talking to Arizona State Sun Devils wide receiver and NFL draft hopeful Rashad Ross. They'll also be discussing the upcoming NFL draft, the first round of the NBA playoffs, the NHL feeling it needs to play outdoor games in the snowy confines of what? Dodger Stadium? And more. My question is real ice or plastic ice? So anyway, let's say good morning to Derek Marquez from Toronto, Ontario. Frank will be along in a few minutes, we hope. Good morning, Derek.
Good morning, John.
Our guest is Rashad Ross. He has just finished up his NCAA football career at Arizona State. Ross is a very speedy receiver and has been clocked at 4.37 in the 40-yard dash. Without a doubt, he has the agility and quick burst that makes it possible for him to make one move and see daylight. It serves him well as a returner and a slot receiver. He's a natural savvy ball carrier, displays smoothness when catching bubble screens and quick passes of that sort. His best trait is his ability to separate at the top of routes, even when he is blanketed. So, Rashad Ross, good morning, and thanks for joining us on the CANUSA Sports Desk.
Good morning, and thank you.
Yeah, take it away, Derek.
So, Rashad, thanks for coming on. Just kind of let the listeners know what kind of player you are and what your asset is in the game of football.
I say like my best asset in the game of football is my speed, because I mean most of the time coaches, you can't teach speed, and speed is like a big part of the game now. You see everybody starting to run fast 40s, and all coaches is looking for right now is who can run. So I'll say one of my best assets is my speed, because I can run.
And that's true, because I've heard that on multiple sports, not just football, even baseball and basketball. They rather draft someone that's an athlete that can run with speed and kind of teach them the skill, opposed to someone who's skillful but is slow. So having that asset of being speed is huge nowadays, and being athletic. People are really looking for an athletic person and someone who's fast, because they can feel they can groom them in the other aspects of the game if they have that speed. Because you can't teach speed, you can't make someone faster. You can't to an extent, but if you actually have that ability. So now that your playing days are over at Arizona State, what was your best memory of being a Sun Devil?
I say my best memory of being a Sun Devil is I say at Camp T. Last year we had this thing called Camp T, and it was like a good experience for me, because we couldn't use our cell phones, we couldn't use nothing. It was just straight football. No Wi-Fi, no cell phones, and it was for like 4 days, I think. Yeah, it was 4 days. So it was like just bonding with the team. That was like a great experience, because I ain't never like went out somewhere where I can use nothing, can get on no type of phone or no me. I couldn't see, like, I couldn't get on nothing, couldn't talk to my parents, nothing. It was just straight football, eat, sleep, and bond with your team. So that's one of the best. But I have a lot of memories that's up there though. That, like, if I had like a top 10 list, I would say that. I say just for the first time running out the tunnel and just seeing like all the fans and the crowd just yelling for us. I mean, the feeling is just amazing. And
Because we don't know how your career is going to go, with NFL or what road it's going to be. But I bet you there's going to be stories that of you playing in college that you're going to tell for years to come. Even you may have NFL stories as well, but there's going to be those stories that of your playing days in Arizona State that you can't replace because it's just the time in your life where you're not being paid, you're still young, you're having fun. So it's sometimes their hurt is colleges win the last time they actually played football to have fun because you're not worried about contracts, you're not worried about am I going to get cut? You're there, you're playing. It's almost, your last days of kind of having the game of football not as a business, but, as pleasure. And so I think it's going to be huge for you. Kind of, they'll have stories there forever. But this Thursday is the NFL draft. You are a draft hopeful. So someone asked, how are you going to spend the draft? What's your kind of plans? You're going to be following it on the internet, following it on TV. Are you going there in person? There's so many options now. How's Rashad Ross going to spend draft day on Thursday and Friday and Saturday?
Well, I plan on spending draft day in Arizona with my family. If they can't come out there, I will come back to California and spend it with my family. I'll be watching it on TV, just looking at all the updates. I mean, every year I watch it on TV, and I'll be trying to figure out who's gonna get drafted, when, where. And just like last year when I was watching, I was excited for my teammates. Burfict. We had Omar Bowden, Jarrell Robertson, Brock Osweiler, just watching them getting drafted and everything, even though Burfict didn't get drafted, but watching them and trying to see where they're going to get drafted, exciting. And now, thinking about it, and now I'm in that situation, I'm just really excited. I'm just ready to see what's going to happen.
So I'm sure as any draft player for any sport, you kind of have an idea where you hope to go, what round. So do you know what to do if it's, let's say, third, fourth, fifth round? Are you kind of watching the first two rounds, not expecting it, and only getting the pressure on, around where you feel you may go, or in it, if someone calls you earlier, they catch you by surprise, it's always better. But do you feel that if you, if you're expecting to go, I'm not sure what round you're expecting to go, but if there's a number that you're kind of thinking I should go around this area, and you're not breathing too heavy until that round comes, and you're feeling okay, this is where I should be getting the phone call.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've been thinking about what round I was gonna go. If I'm either gonna even get drafted, but talking to my agent and talking to everybody, I feel comfortable about wherever I go. And then he was just putting it in my head it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter as long as you make it. My whole goal was just to make it. So at the end of the day, as long as I get on the team, I'll be satisfied with anything.
Yeah, because I try to put myself in your shoes, and with so many mock drafts nowadays and seeing your name on the internet, you kind of, you could see your name as high as, second round, you can see it in seventh round, you can see your name not on the list at all. So you kind of feel that, with so much media and so many kind of media outlets nowadays to have these mock drafts, and mock drafts are huge right now, to kind of, you kind of give yourself, well, so-and-so thinks I can go this high, so you kind of have that number, someone from ESPN has me as a third round pick. So, kind of third round comes around, you're like, oh, is this going to be when I get the call? But exactly, your ultimate goal is just to get the call. And, as long as you have that call and you get drafted, then, fate's in your own hands, and you go into rookie camp and camp there in the summer, and, you prove them why they drafted you.
Yeah.
But, so what has this whole draft experience been for you? And have you gone to combines? Have you kind of, what has it been since, your final game at Arizona State?
Well, since my final game, it was a bowl game. I had scored 3 touchdowns for 139 yards with only 4 catches. I mean, that was like a highlight of my career, especially going out like that. And I felt good, but going into the game, I used to always look at my stats, and I didn't like how it was. And I was like, man, I haven't had a breakout. Well, I had a couple games, but I just need one of them games. So I was really focused, prepared for it. My whole goal was I want to go to the combine. If I do this, if I do that, if I do good, I'm going to go to the combine. So I went in there with a focus of this could be my last game ever. So I went in focused and played out great for me. And I'm sitting, waiting for this. I was sitting, waiting for the combine later. I even got a tweet by NFL Bible talking about, oh, yeah, Rashad Ross just got invited, but I never got my letters. So I'm talking to my agent. He was like, well, I guess it don't really matter. Just get ready for the pro day. So since I never got invited, I was kind of like a little bit sad, but then again, I was like, whatever. As long as I get an opportunity, that's my whole goal, is to get an opportunity and make the best out of it. Because that's what I've been doing all my life. Any opportunity I had, make the best of it. I just was playing, getting ready, training for pro day, training hard. So every day I had to gain some weight out. I think when I first stepped on the scale, I was at like 168, and I'm like, oh yeah, I got to get my weight up. So just the whole process of having to eat, having to sleep, wake up, train, make sure, step on the scale like 3 times a day, eating like 4 times, 5 times a day, trying to get my weight up just for pro day. It was just like crazy. It was just like a whole different feeling. You know, it didn't really feel like football, if you understand what I'm saying. It was feeling like, I don't know, but it wasn't really feeling like football. But after, when pro day came up, it was more like, when I got there, I was like, man, I don't really care what happened. I'm gonna just go out there and have fun. So when I went out there, I started having fun. So I did good numbers. I had Kansas City Chiefs was sitting there talking to me. Their scout was talking to me almost the whole time. The Saints scout was talking to me. I had the Texans scout give me like something to write up for them. Jaguar scout. And then I did real good. I didn't drop no balls. I ran 4.3 twice. I benched 12 times, and And when I first started, I was only benching 4. So it just felt great. Like I went in there and did what I had to do, and then after that, I'm just sitting there like, man, I feel good. I feel great. I hope I get drafted. I know I did good. Then next thing you know, I had a Patriots call me. Had a workout with them. My punter had a lot of workouts, so he kept calling me. So I was working out with the Bills with my punter. I was just catching punts and everything, and then I had the Niner workout. But these last couple of days, I've been having like teams calling me and everything, so I feel really good about the whole thing. But it's just exciting. Like, and it was just hard work. I had hard work, dedication, and that was just exciting to me. The whole draft, just pre-gaming for the draft and pro day and everything.
So did you do yours in Tempe, Arizona?
Yeah, I did it in Tempe, Arizona, at Arizona State.
So if you can compare yourself to an NFLer today, who would it be?
I got to say, being from California and when not really knowing stuff about college football when I was younger, and then looking at college football, the first person I would say, because I used to like the Cal. Cal was my favorite college football team. So I liked them because of Deshaun Jackson and Jonathan Best. But honestly, what I did in junior college and everything, and how I can catch punts and play receiver and do like everything like the Deshaun Jackson, I kind of look up to him and I compare myself to him just because I look up to him and I'm fast just like him. He's small. He's a small guy just like me. So that's why I look up to him and compare myself to him.
So on a brighter side and lighter side, what do you like to do when you're getting away from the game of football and kind of just want to relax and kind of step away from the world of Rashad Ross?
Oh, honestly, what I do away from football, I like kids. So community service. I remember we did community service. Me and some football players did community service. We'd go to like an elementary, sign autographs or whatnot, but just have a group and just be playing with them, talking to them. Like I love playing with kids. So on my off time, get away, I like to be around kids. I mean, I have nieces and nephews I be with, like to play with, just play little pickup games. It don't really matter. I play video games every once in a while, but really just I like being with kids. So that's what I like to do on my off time.
That's great. You take the opportunity to use your position as United Arizona State or just as a college football player to kind of spend time with kids, because it probably means so much to those kids that you're spending time with that they look up to you. That's what people, at least young athletes, don't realize is these kids as young as 8, 9, even though you can be playing high school or college, they look up to you like you're pros. And to say that Rashad Ross played pickup basketball with me, it would be huge for them, and they get so excited. So I'm glad that you actually give back and do that, because not many athletes do, give that back and realize that they're idols to these young kids. And what is your most embarrassing song on your iPod? We all know you have one.
My my most embarrassing song is I want to say when I was with my nieces and nephew, I started liking the song. It's I forgot who it was by, but it go like, today I don't feel like doing anything.
That'd be Mr. Bruno Mars.
Yeah. So I used to always listen to that, like, because I always be with them, and they always used to love listening to it. And every time it come on the radio, they just sing it. So it got stuck in my head. So I just put it on my iPad, downloaded it, and then I always used to listen to it. Then my friends come around, they like, what are you listening to?
I can just see
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I can just see him just bobbing his head to the little Bruno Mars kind of, because it's a song that's catchy, right? Once you hear it first thing in the morning, it's in your head all day long.
Okay. We will take a break and come back. It's the CANUSA Sports Desk on the 405 Radio, 877-297-8022. Back with Derek and Rashad Ross here on the 405 Radio.
You're on the 405.
Heart disease remains a leading quality of life of countless others who have trouble doing even simple things they once enjoyed. I'm Jimmy Johnson, and like someone you probably know, I have heart disease. Today I'm doing what I love, spending time outdoors and with my family, talking football, and even competing on Survivor. But just a few short years ago, heart disease could have kept me from the sidelines. I couldn't let that happen. My whole career has been about hard work to achieve success. I knew there had to be a winning solution, and I talked to my doctor. Then, working with an interventional cardiologist, we decided on a stent to relieve my heart disease symptoms. I've never looked back. As a survivor, I'm urging you to talk to your doctor and know your risk, because your own health is more important than the biggest game. Learn about your heart disease, get proper treatment, and live well. For more information, visit secondscount.org.
Hi, I'm Carl Edwards from Roush Racing. When I'm driving, I always buckle up.
We always buckle up.
Buckle up.
Buckle up.
Buckle up.
Buckle up.
And you should too.
Every trip, every time.
Every trip, every time.
Every trip, every time. Every trip, every time.
Every trip and every time. Yeah.
Buckle up every trip, every time.
Hi, I'm Dan Marino. Before you head out on the water, the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary would like to remind you to wear your life jacket while underway, and remember that you are in command. For more information, please visit uscgboating.org.
Hey sports fans, this is Derek Marquez.
And Frank Nutt from the CANUSA Sports Desk on the 405 Radio.
Just a reminder to check out our live shows on Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific.
And CANUSA Sports Desk post-game show, which airs following the Sunday night football game and after any other big sport event.
Check us out on iTunes and download our podcasts of any of our old shows that you've missed.
CANUSA Sports Desk and CANUSA Sports Desk post-game show are available for download shortly after we air.
Check us out on our website at www.canusasd.com. That's CANUSASD.com for our latest blogs.
And you can also follow us on Twitter at CANUSASD for your up-to-date latest sports info and tweets for our upcoming shows.
Here at the Weekend 405, we like to get beachy and mellow out.
I get a big Bob Marley joint.
We know you listen to escape the harsh realities of the work week.
It's a little harsh.
Wash the weekend down with the 405.
The cannibal!
You're on the 405.
It's the CANUSA Sports Desk on the 405 Radio. Our phone number, toll-free, if you want to join in, is 877-297-8022. Let us go back to Derek Marquez.
So, Rashad, the NFL draft is this week. I just want to get your opinion. Do you think this is the first time in a few years the number one pick overall isn't going to be most likely a quarterback? There was rumors at one point to be Geno Smith, but now it doesn't look like the Chiefs are going to take Geno Smith because they just have Alex Smith. Do you think that there's going to be a quality NFL quarterback coming out of this draft? The top two names right now are Matt Barkley of USC and Geno Smith of West Virginia. Do you think either of those quarterbacks, are going to be as good as last year's? You have Tannehill, Andrew Luck, RG3. So what's your opinion on that?
I feel like last year they had more quarterbacks, deeper quarterbacks, but this year, just because it's a quarterback that's probably not going first overall pick, that don't mean that it wouldn't be a quarterback that's going to come out and be dominant, such as Andrew Luck, RG3. But I think playing against Matt Barkley, like I played against Matt Barkley 2 years in a row, so playing against him, I think he'd come out and be a good quarterback in the NFL. Because to me, I feel like he's smart. Even though he threw picks, he was the type of person that can throw a pick and it won't bother him. Like he'd come back and score on us. So I feel like he got that. And then Geno Smith, just looking at him play, he can run, he can pass. Out of everybody, I feel like he can pass and run, and that's a big thing. That's going to be a big thing for him. So I feel like he can come out and do something good too and be dominant. But I feel like it's going to take more time for Geno Smith than Andrew Luck, because Andrew Luck is smart.
I think the problem with both these quarterbacks is they're being compared. So for Matt Barkley, him being at USC and being compared to Carson Palmer, Matt Leinart, Mark Sanchez, everything that they did at USC, what Matt Barkley did is, that was a negative to him. He wasn't able to win a national championship. He wasn't able to, bring that USC team as good as the other quarterbacks did. And Geno Smith is being compared to your Cam Newtons, your RG3s. So I think both those players are actually going to be negative because they're being compared to these other players, and it's hurting them. But I'm not sold on it. I'm not sold on Geno Smith. I thought for sure, going into last year that we're going to see special things from Geno Smith. The offense was there, but then the picks were there, and once one loss came, and I don't know if just his confidence kind of went away. But it's just he constantly had a couple bad games in a row. So I'm not sure if any of those quarterbacks will be a premier starting quarterback in the NFL, but I think there could be, is it going to be E.J. Manuel? He's not really getting any notice. He had a solid career at Florida State. He never won a national championship, but this is a quarterback that went 4-0 in bowl games in his college career. So he's been able to win games since his freshman year at Florida State. So it'll be interesting to see if he's a big boy. He can run, he can throw. I would take a flyer on him if I was, if he's around in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, why not take an E.J. Manuel and see what he can do? But I think that is where, almost like a Russell Wilson, a quarterback will come out of this draft, but no one's talking about them today.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, just thinking about it, I kind of agree with you, but I'm just saying, playing against Mike Barkley, I feel like he's smart enough to play. He got the accuracy to play. I feel like all he can do is develop right now. So he have a good chance of being a good quarterback. Even though he haven't won a championship, I always tell my friends, winning the championship, that's what everybody want to do. But no matter how good you is, if you don't have the team to support you, you don't have a championship team, you're not going to win a championship team. You're not going to win a championship.
And there's only one championship.
Yeah, and there's only one championship. And Alabama apparently had the best team these last couple years. So even if they would have made it, I don't think they would have won it not because of Mike Barkley or the team, is because it was a better team than them. It was always a better team than them.
And especially with college football, we always see a team that wins a national championship, but the quarterback doesn't have a strong enough arm to be an NFL quarterback. So yes, he can lead his team to a national championship, but he won't even get recognition as an NFL quarterback because they feel his arm isn't strong enough. You heard that rumor from Cam Newton. He proved them wrong that he does have a strong enough arm to be in the NFL. So, but going on to this year is the second year that the NFL has gone to a 3-day draft starting on a Thursday prime time with the first round. Just want to know, what's your opinion of that? Do you think it's a smart move with the NFL doing it? Because I remember for many years, it's always Saturday at noon, the NFL draft starts. Now it's kind of a prime time television based thing for a Thursday, and then also the Sunday for from the Friday, the second and third round also being Friday night on prime time. So what's your take on that? Is this a successful move? Do you think that the NFL is gaining kind of more fans following the draft because of it?
Yeah, I think it's great because, what do people do on Thursday? Thursday.
Personally, I curl, but I don't think many NFL people are curling, so I don't think that's the case.
Like Thursday, I'll say it ain't nothing on TV Thursday. Except when college football on, we have Thursday college football games. So I think it's great because it's more people can watch it now if they're not busy on Thursday, and then it's more days instead of having it Friday, Saturday at noon, where at noon most of the time people are busy, people are at work, you know. So Thursday is great, though. I feel Thursday was a good, smart move.
If they started on a Friday, it'd be just a little better because you have your prime time, your weekend, and then you can still close it off on Sunday, which is NFL. You know, NFL happens on Sunday. So I know the draft's long, and there's multiple rounds that go into it, but I just feel that if you had it Friday, Saturday, Sunday, have that prime, maybe one first and second round on Friday, just bring more, it's Friday night, so instead of making it a weekend event opposed to a Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
But we know what you'll be doing this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday personally.
Yeah, be excited and just have my eyes open watching.
Mm-hmm. So Clay Matthews did sign a 5-year extension worth $13 million per season. What's your take on that? Do you think it's money well spent by the Packers?
It's hard to judge. I mean, I feel like he did good in the past, so he had like 13 sacks this year. I don't know how many tackles, but he did good. I mean, you can't never tell. Like, he might be like one of the dominant linebackers that, you know, in the next couple of years. I mean, I feel like they did what they had to do to keep him and everything, but you'll never know if it's a good idea, if it was a great thing or a bad thing until years to come. What he do?
Yeah, I think you can't let a player like Clay Matthews go. If you have an opportunity to re-sign him for 5 then you have to. It's just you can't let a player of that caliber get away. You know, John, what do you think as a Packer fan?
I think it's a totally different defense, you know, with him and without him. As they were making the drive toward the playoffs last year, I think he missed a few games. I'm not sure exactly how many. Maybe you guys remember that. But, I felt if he didn't get back in there, they weren't going to get to the playoffs.
Yeah, I think, you know, he is one of the elite players in the NFL, and you can't just let him go. You know, you have to keep him at Lambeau as long as you can. You can't just risk that and have him walk away, I think. Don't you agree, Rashad?
Yeah, I agree. Like, he was really the face of the defense. He brought all the energy and everything, and with him, there was a better defense. So that was good on the Packers to keep him.
And a lot went wrong on both sides of the ball. You know, we can talk about the backfield and the receivers, but, his position was not one of the problem areas, not when he was in there playing.
And we all know that, you know, Green Bay still wants to be competitive, and they can't let a player like that go. You know, they're still, just because last year didn't work out for them doesn't mean they're ready to win the NFC Central this year. But moving on to the NBA, so the season just ended last year. What was your thought of Kevin Durant sitting out the last regular season game and pretty much giving the scoring title to Carmelo Anthony of the Knicks?
I feel like at the end of the day, it's all about winning the championship. You know, LeBron James got MVPs, and he still get criticized. Oh, he only had one championship. He got this and that. He can have all the records, but he only got one championship. So I feel like, before last year, he got this and that, but he didn't have no championship. So I feel like it's not about the scoring title. It's about, at the end of the day, winning championships. And I think that was a good move, a great move, what they did. Sitting him out, weapon if he tried to go for the scoring title, end up breaking something or getting hurt. And now he put himself and his team into deliver and all that. So I feel like they did the right thing for him. We're not worried about no scoring title. We number one seed. We're worried about winning the whole thing and resting our best players. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, I have mixed emotions. Since it was Kevin Durant and Oklahoma City did lose in the final last year, they feel they have that expectation to get to the final. If it was someone else, maybe they give him that scoring title because they feel, he may not do it again. Kevin Durant's a player that he will probably win a scoring title again. But then again, the other side, they always compare these personal records when you come to a player's year on at the end of their career. Like Michael Jordan always said, how many scoring records, how many scoring championships he won, how many MVPs, how many All-Star game appearances, how many championships. They all kind of bulk them all together. And by kind of sitting out, you're kind of just forfeiting one of those stats and adding and almost padding it when, later on in your career. But, you always want to stay in game intensity of game shape. Having that rest is good, but then, there's a catch-22. Do you have that game intensity going into it? But I think with Kevin Durant being that dominant player and Oklahoma City Thunder having the expectation of going back to the final, I think it was a smart move because he's a player that next year he'll be right up there. He's still young and he's going to win multiple scoring titles. Just by him giving Carmelo Anthony this one, I guess his prize is the championship. But if OKC wins the championship this year and next year they're in the same position, does he sit out? Do you think? He has his championship ring. He's in that position again.
I don't think he sit out.
So you think once he gets that ring, he would go for the he would go for the scoring title? I actually agree with you. I think getting that first ring and kind of getting bursting that bubble like LeBron. You see what he did after that monkey was off his back. I think when Kevin Durant gets that monkey off his back, I think he doesn't sit out. I think he plays that game to try and win the scoring title. So the Lakers GM says they will be bringing Mike D'Antoni back next season. Do you think they should?
I mean, that's a good move. I mean, if you think about it, they started off slow, but at the end of the day, they started winning. Like at the end, they started winning. Even when Kobe Bryant hurt, they won the two most important games without Kobe Bryant. So I feel like the coach must be doing something good. They starting to get brought together. So I feel like they'll be a better team next year with the coach. I feel like the coach did good they made it to the playoffs, so that's good.
And you know what you're going to get with Mike D'Antoni. You're going to get a high-scoring offense. Defense is going to be weak. But also, it's not Mike D'Antoni's fault if there's no team chemistry. If Dwight Howard and Kobe Bryant has, a difference, like there's rumored to be, his fault. Mike D'Antoni cannot control that. Mike D'Antoni didn't bring those players in. He can only work with what he has. And I think you said he turned the season around. Unfortunately, with the name of Phil Jackson always being unemployed, there's always that talk of, Phil Jackson do better. It's better. But Phil Jackson has back problems. Phil Jackson should stay retired for his own health. He doesn't need any more rings. He's running out of fingers. So personally, I think it was a smart move. I just think for what the Lakers have, with Kobe missing so many games next year, it's going to be different dynamics in LA for the start of the year. It's going to be pretty much Dwight Howard and Steve Nash's team until Kobe comes back, as Kobe's going to miss. Look at Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose still has not come back, and he probably will miss in the entire season. So Kobe may be gone all of next year. He's not a young puppy anymore. But it's funny because I mentioned it on the show back in the summer of Kobe Bryant playing in the Olympics and the effects that will cause, and if it's going to having a longer season. And here he is at the end of the year, and he injured himself, and not one person has tied the two together. Mm-hmm. He's not young. He didn't need to be in London. He did it. He already won this gold medal, and he played for his country. That's great, but now he's hurt. He could possibly, miss a full season. So it's just, I think I'm tying the two together. I think, playing all those games of basketball out of his body and to travel had hurt him. So I think, it wasn't a smart move in the long run, playing in London. If I was Kobe Bryant, he had his gold medal, and people said that Kobe Bryant was in London for Kobe Bryant and his brand and not for Team USA. And if that's the case, then he was just being greedy. If he was there to represent his country, you can never, put that aside if someone wants to represent their country. But you also have to put the pros and cons on, can my body handle starting the season intense basketball in July ahead of a full season? And lastly, how important is momentum going into the NBA playoffs, do you feel?
I feel like it's very important. Going in, especially winning and everything, is very important. But at the end of the day, it's all about when you're there and how your momentum is, because it can switch easily off of a game, buzzer shot, anything. Just like a couple years ago, San Antonio Spurs playing against the Lakers. It was up 2-0 with 0.4 seconds left. And Derek Fisher hit that shot, and it changed. No matter about the San Antonio momentum, it switched off of that, and I feel like the Lakers came back and won that series. But I'm just saying, like, the momentum is a good thing because you can go in and just start winning. But then again, it's all about keeping the momentum when you go in.
I agree, because I think that's the case with any sport. And just going back to football, and you mentioned the break that you're a Giants fan. The Giants had the best record going into the playoffs 2 years ago. They ended up getting in as a wild card, but they carried that momentum right through the playoffs. I know for the NFL it's easier because you only have to win 4 games to get into the championship. But I think in anything, if I'd rather be a team than 8th seed that goes on a 10-0 run going into the playoffs than the 1 seed that went 0-10. I think, momentum, it means everything. If you go in with confidence and you say, we can take them, and you believe you can, and if it's a team that's struggling, and if once you're in a slump, you're second-guessing yourself, you're not playing with the same confidence, same swagger, I think, having the momentum will mean a lot. I think it's harder, though, if you were a lower seed in the NBA and you have momentum. I think it can win you a round or two. I don't think it can win you a championship. I think it's just too grueling, almost like NHL. There's too many rounds, 4-game series. You have to win 16 games to get there. I don't think the momentum can carry 5 weeks, 16 wins to win a championship. Don't you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. That's a lot of games.
Yeah, because it's
just on the road.
Mm-hmm. Like, I think the momentum will help for let's say the Bucks, having momentum. They could beat the Heat, and maybe they'll roll that momentum and win the second round. But I think eventually that momentum will wear off, and they'll come back down to reality. I just think it's harder for a team in basketball or hockey to carry that momentum all the way through the championship. But almost, but sports like the NFL or even baseball, the teams that win the wild card, like the St. Louis Cardinals, have showed us, they win the wild card, they win the divisional series, they have the momentum's going, and then they win the World Series, even though they were a wild card team. So I think it's the shorter the run you need to win the championship, the better for these momentum runs. But if you have a longer stretch like the NFL, like the NBA and like the NHL, it's too hard to do it. I know the LA Kings actually did it last year. They were the 8th seed, and they kind of rode that momentum in. But it is tough. It can be done, but it's not something that it's not as easily done as the NFL or Major League Baseball.
I'll just say it depends on what sport it is.
Yeah, exactly.
NFL, NFL, you can get a last seed like the Giants. Well, 2 years ago, the Giants. The year before that, it was the Packers. Barely making the playoffs and going in for a run to win the Super Bowl. So.
Yeah, because you hear it all the time, momentum, confidence, and it's something that you can't measure on paper, right? You just, as a player, right? There's that your last college game, you didn't drop a pass, you're 3 touchdowns, you had confidence, you probably felt that, just throw me anything and I'm going to catch it. And if there could be games, and there's probably some games that you've had that, a couple went through your hands, or you need to feel like, don't give it to me because I can't even catch a beach ball today. Any sport is just so mental that it's really, in your head that, if you're going to do well or do not. If things are going for you and they're clicking, you feel, you're Superman. There's other days you just feel, I just can't do anything right. But I don't think it's hard to, you have to almost battle yourself to overcome it. And sometimes you need that one catch to break it, or you need that kind of one shot. You can be over 10 on the free throw, on the 3-point line, but the game's in your hands. You feel, I still need that, so you'd still give it and take the shot. But I just think momentum is just big in any sport.
You guys ready to make some predictions here?
I think we're ready.
All right, NBA playoffs. We're going to read the series, and you tell us who the winner will be and in how many games. So we'll just take these one at a time here. Eastern Conference, Heat versus Bucks. Derek.
I'm going to go for the Heat, but I'm actually going to say the Bucks will win a game in the series. I'm going to say the Heat will take it in 5.
Okay.
Rashad?
I say the Heat will sweep them. That's what I think. Sweep. First round.
Let's see. Let's talk about the Knicks and the Celtics. Derek, prediction, how many games?
Since Frank isn't here, I can feel comfortable by saying I think the Celtics are going to take it in 7. I think the experience of the Celtics will overcome the inexperience of the New York Knicks.
I say the Knicks. They played the Celtics last year in the first round, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, and the Celtics beat them. I'll say this is the Knicks' year to beat the Celtics because the Celtics don't have Rondo, so I'll say it go to Game 7. I think it goes all the way to Game 7, and the Knicks end up winning.
All right, little disagreement here. Pacers versus the Hawks. Derek Marquez.
I'm going with the Indiana Pacers. I'm going to say in 6 games. They should win the series quite easily. Atlanta, they don't scare me as much as I think the Pacers should take this. Rashad?
I think I'm going with you. I'm thinking the Pacers going to take it too. I don't know how many games, though. I'm hoping at 5. But you say 6. We'll see. But I think the Patriots will take this, though.
Okay, and then finally for the Eastern Conference, Nets, Bulls. Derek?
I'm going Bulls in 6. They're going to win it back in Chicago at the Madhouse on Madison on Game 6. I think that's what the Bulls should. Again, I'll take the experience. The Bulls, they have that chemistry. They've been there. The Knicks is just a purchased team. We'll see how Josh Smith does, but I just think the Bulls should take the Nets in this round.
This is an interesting round right here against them. I mean, there's a matchup. I feel like the Nets, they have a lot of players. I feel like they have a better team, but I don't think they'll get the job done, especially not this year. I feel like the Chicago Bulls, like you were saying, chemistry, everything, I feel like they know how to win. So I feel like they'll win, and I'll say 6.
Okay. Western Conference, Thunder, Rockets. Derek?
I'm going to the OKC, and I don't think Kevin Durant even breaks a sweat. 4 games.
I mean, as much I like my alumni, ASU, James Harden, I really like his game. I mean, I like how he plays. You feel me? I look up to him, and he went to the same school that I went to, so I really want him to win, but I don't think they have a chance. So I'll say OKC in 4. James Harden might win 1 game, so.
And that's going to be the storyline, right? James Harden playing his old team in the first round, but I just think OKC just has too much firepower to beat James Harden and his sidekick Jeremy Lin, which really has been a non-factor this whole season.
Yeah.
And we will talk about the Spurs and the Lakers, or as Derek says here, the Lackers. Derek?
I think the Lakers or the Lakers will actually upset the...
Really?
Yes, the Spurs. I think they're going to... the Lake Show is going to win in 6 games. I think the Canadian Steve Nash will take the team on his back. And with the high-scoring offense of Mike D'Antoni with the defensive Spurs, I'm going to go... they're both up there in age. I'm going to go with the Lakers.
Me, I've never been a Laker fan. The Lakers is playing much better basketball. Much better basketball, but I just don't see them. I just don't see them beating San Antonio Spurs, especially Angel Ginobili coming back. So I don't see them. I don't think they still can't play defense, and that's the thing that they really need, especially guarding the guards. So it'll be a good series, but I think the Lakers are losing. I say 6.
Okay. Nuggets versus Warriors. Who's the winner? How many games, Derek?
I like the Warriors. I like Curry. He's playing really well this year. I'm going to go the Warriors in 7 games.
Ooh. I go the same thing. The Warriors, it's going to be a good series. I got the Warriors, though. I feel like Curry he steps up. He playing great. So I feel like they'll win the first round in 7.
Okay, and finally in the Western Conference, Clippers versus Grizzlies.
I'm going to see Blake Griffin with the Clippers in 5 games over the Grizz. Rashad?
Grizzlies, I mean, the Clippers never, I don't think they're that strong. I mean, every time in the playoffs, the last time in the playoffs, they haven't really did nothing. But it seemed like when the Grizzlies get into the playoffs, they start gelling and making their moves. So it's going to be a close series. I mean, it's going to be close. Yeah, the series is going to be close. I think the Grizzlies might pull it out at 7.
Okay, Rashad, we will thank you for coming on the show today and ask if you have anything you're doing in terms of Twitter, Facebook, social media. You selling any T-shirts, bling, swag? What do you got, man? We'll sell it.
I got a Twitter account. It's at the Rocker Rashad. Same thing. Instagram, the Rocker Rashad. Same thing. Facebook, not really. I don't be on Facebook like that, but I got a Twitter, Instagram.
I can take it or leave it too.
So I'll always be tweeting, and I'll always be on Instagram. I'll be on Instagram more though, but I don't have nothing else other than that.
So Rashad, I will be following NFL.com and hitting refresh to wait till your name comes up because I will be expecting it, and I'm hoping you'll be in Buffalo because we need anyone we can get right now up in Orchard Park.
Yeah, and give us your cell phone number so we can call you after you've been selected. And I don't know, I'm just kidding. Anyway, we're going to take a break. In our final segment, the guys will be talking about NHL playing 6 outdoor games next year. And our weekly rapid fire right here on the CANUSA Sports Desk on the 405 Radio.
You're on the 405.
Exercise is hard. So is maintaining a healthy diet. Of course, neither is half as hard as dying. Sadly, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and stroke kill nearly 1 million people a year. Even sadder, most of these deaths are preventable with a few lifestyle changes, including regular activity, healthier eating, and not smoking. Talk to your doctor about your risk for type 2 diabetes and heart disease. And if your doctor recommends lifestyle changes or medication, listen. The reason so many die is because not enough are willing to change. You can stop it, starting right now. It's your life. Listen to your doctor. Eat better. Get moving. Visit checkupamerica.org or call 1-800-DIABETES. A message from the American Diabetes Association.
NASCAR is one of the world's most popular sporting events. With more than 75 million fans, it's the #2 sport on television, and more Fortune 500 companies participate in NASCAR than in any other sport. Preparation before a race can impact who wins. Crew members put in hours of fine-tuning and analysis to eliminate problems that are obstacles to the team's success.
I'm Kevin Harvick. As a NASCAR driver, I know all about regular checkups and early detection to prevent problems. It makes sense to do the same with your health and have regular checkups for prostate cancer.
Every man over the age of 50 should resolve to be screened annually for prostate cancer, as the lifetime risk of developing prostate cancer is 1 in 6 men.
Put the odds in your favor and commit to being screened annually.
Here at the 405, we've got the cure for the Mondays.
Does anyone ever say to you, sounds like someone has a case of the Mondays? No, man. I believe you get your ass kicked saying something like that, man.
Fridays.
Next Friday is Hawaiian Shirt Day.
Sundays.
I'm also going to need you to go ahead and come in on Sunday.
You'll feel better.
Oh. You know what I'm talking about.
And be a better person.
I have people skills. What the hell is wrong with you people?
Make the 405
I believe you have my stapler.
Staple of your week.
Yeah.
You're on the 405.
It's the closing segment of the CANUSA Sports Desk on the 405 Radio. Frank is off today. Derek Marquez is back, and here he is.
So, John, I don't know if we can go for a little roll call. See who's
yeah, that's right. Forgot about that. Tampa, Florida checking in. Oshawa, Ontario. Cairo, Egypt, of all places. Lexington, Kentucky. Denver, Colorado. South Dartmouth, Massachusetts. Etobicoke, Ontario. I've been there. I know where that is. So we'll check in with those places today and say thanks for listening to the CANUSA Sports Desk.
So I just want to go off on my little rant of, Gary Bettman. It's been a while since, they settled the CBA, but again, he's dropped the ball and he's killing the golden goose, announcing that 6 outdoor games we played in 2013. This is just ridiculous. It's a waste of money. It's going to lose interest, especially one of the places being Dodger Field. Dodger Stadium. They're going to have an outdoor game in Dodger Stadium. I'm assuming it's going to be fake ice. I think Gary Bettman isn't God, and he can't call it's going to snow that day in, Chavez Ravine. It's stupid. I think players, it's lost its pizzazz. Having the Red Wings and the Leafs at the Big House in Michigan, that was a great call. Two storied franchises, leave it at that. But now they announced the New York Rangers will be playing at Yankee Stadium, not once but twice. They'll be playing the Devils and the Islanders. I guess everyone in all the New York City teams need to be in on it. So that's 2 games there. There's a game in Los Angeles. There's a game in Vancouver. It's going to go from, I believe, the last game that the Canucks are playing at the outdoor game. It's going to be in March. So they're going to spread out over the season. So with the Olympics happening next year means there's no NHL All-Star game, and they're pretty much trying to get as much money as they can from the fans that they apologize to get out, and they can pack 50, 60,000 people in a stadium where you can only pack 20,000 in a hockey arena, trying to get as much money for your buck. But outdoor games there, bad hockey, it's on bad ice, and it's terrible to watch. I remember people that went to the game at Fenway Park, and it's there for the event, not there for the hockey. You can't watch, you can't see the game. You're there pretty much to drink and party, and not really for the hockey. And it's really bad hockey. You can't control the environment, and it's just you don't know. You never expect the weather, rain. Luckily, the NHL has been lucky. None of these outdoor games have been kind of injured, have been canceled. But remember when Crosby and the Penguins played the Capitals a couple years ago at Heinz Field. They had rain. It was a bad, miserable day for hockey. I just don't know how they're going to manipulate the weather for all these games. I think everyone remembers the shootout in Buffalo, the first one, Crosby playing in the snow, or the one in Edmonton where Jose Theodore was in net with a toque on. That was cute. That's great. But now having 6 games in 1 year outside, it's just gonna by the 6th times, like we've seen this already 5 times this year. So I just don't know why Gary Bettman or the owners, whoever agreed upon, but I always love picking on Gary. So why would Gary want to have 6 games and just kill his golden goose? Because I can guarantee that all 6 games will not sell out. Do you think NHL hockey can succeed at Dodger Stadium outdoors, John? Being in California?
Well, first of all, they can make real ice in an outdoor setting, even in a place like California. You may not know this, but there's a pretty active demand for these outdoor ice skating rinks around Christmas time, and you'll see this, in open air at some of the shopping centers. Some of them use plastic. I think Disneyland uses plastic ice, but some of them have real major league refrigerator systems, and they're making real ice out there. Now, granted, this is in the middle of winter when the temperatures are in the 50s and 60s, so you never know what you're going to get at Dodger Stadium any time of the year as far as weather's concerned. But I guess if what you're saying is if they do this on plastic ice, that's kind of a fraud. First of all, I don't think the players would go for it.
Yeah,
do you?
I'm assuming it will be on real ice if they're able to do it, but I just want you to know that it's California. I do remember they had a game in Las Vegas when Wayne Gretzky still played in August. It was a training camp game, a spring preseason game, and they had it. And I believe they said it was on plastic ice. I'm not sure on that one, but if they can make it on ice, but just.
And you mentioned Gretzky.
Yes,
he's still a pretty big deal out here, and I think if his name and face were behind this, I think it would do okay. They rip up Angel Stadium quite a lot to do these mud drag truck pull type things, which you look at that field. I mean, it's one of the best fields in baseball, but they do that stuff and they can get the field back to where it was. I think it's got a reasonable chance of success.
I just think 6 in 1 year is going to be too much. It's just almost one that maybe you have it once every 2 years. You still want that kind of specialness about it, and having 6 games in 1 year. I think out of all of them, having the one in Dodger Stadium will be interesting to see because it's kind of different, right? How are they going to make this work in California? The Big House one's going to be interesting because, it's the Leafs and the Red Wings. But I would go to the extent that if they wanted to add another one, maybe have 2 on New Year's Day. Have an early game and a late game. But that's it. Just don't have, the Rangers playing pretty much didn't play 2 games there. And now you have the whole base of, season ticket holders. Do they get outdoor game tickets? So it just a lot of mess, and I don't think it's needed. I just think that they're just trying to kill the golden goose.
We got to do the rapid-fire wrap-up. Question number 1, thoughts of Sweet Caroline being played at Yankee Stadium in honor of the city of Boston. Derek?
I think it's a classy move by a classy organization. Unfortunately, watching it, I was watching it again on YouTube. The fans didn't realize what was going on. It was done in the 4th inning, and you see them kind of sitting around, not really cluing in that it was
those New Yorkers
because of the Boston Marathon until they read the scoreboard, and then the second half of the song they really got into it. But it was a great move by the Yankees, and kudos to them for Boston being such a big rival, and they're kind of saying we're taking baseball aside and we're thinking of the city of Boston and the fans of the Boston Red Sox.
I think it was classy, and I think it will only be eclipsed by the partying going on this weekend now that they killed one of those guys and caught the other. As you know, the Red Sox game was canceled last night, but they're back on for the weekend, and I think there's going to be fun times in Beantown, bouncing back from a horrible tragedy.
Yeah.
If you're getting drafted... I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'd love to be at Fenway Park today during the National...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. If you're getting drafted into the NFL, would you go to the draft in person or wait for the call at home?
I've been to an NHL draft, and I've seen those kids sit in those seats for 2 days waiting for their name to be called. I think I would rather be at home where I can kind of distract myself, go to the back, go to a different room and not just sit there and just listen and see these other people get called up. So I would rather go stay at home and follow it from, wait for the call myself. You?
Yeah, I agree. If you don't get called, the camera zooms in on your face and, you make some facial expression and suddenly, the whole cyberverse is commenting on some grimace or, some smirk that you made, which they're going to read a zillion things into. Anyway, one word to describe Adam Scott, Angel Cabrera's playoff on Sunday at the Masters.
Australia? If I hear the CBS tell me one more time that Adam Scott was from Australia, I was gonna just put the thing on mute. But it was just the putting. It was exciting. I can't. What a better way to end Sunday at Augusta than what we saw between Angel Cabrera and Adam Scott.
I got 2 words. Tiger who?
I think I say Great Scott. I thought those would be your 2 words.
Okay. Lastly, per usual, what are you watching this week?
This week, I'm just going to start watching the NBA playoffs start this week, and the last week of the NHL, there's still a couple of teams waiting to get in, trying to see what can happen, so that's what I'll be doing. Yourself?
I'm going to watch the Angels. They've had a rough start. I'm looking to see them, get back on track here. Our old friend from Milwaukee, Prince Fielder's in town with the Tigers, and, looking for those guys to start putting some wins together here. So anyway, Derek, thank you very much. We'll talk to you next week.
See you next week, John.
And next week, NFL draft prospect from University of Buffalo, Bulls, Wiley Mosley Jr. here on the CANUSA Sports Desk. So we will talk to you next week. It's the CANUSA Sports Desk on the 405 Radio. Goodbye.